Why do I always think that I'm like a foot taller than I actually am? One day I'll learn. Probably not soon. Wishful thinking. Here we go. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Mac. I'm Mac, and this is episode 15. Why didn't I look that up before I started? I think this is episode 15. If not, it will be different in the title. What a way to start. I, once again, took an additional week off of filming. I started school last week, teaching, and just because I'm teaching some new stuff this year and the structure of my class is different, I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna not record for YouTube. We're just gonna let it go and it's fine. And I think that was a great decision for my mental well-being. So, but that does mean I have a lot of things to share this week. I'm very excited about it. So this could be a long episode, so brace yourself. But some background, because it's been a while and you may be new, who knows. I'm Mac. I live in the Midwest. I live in Indiana. I am a public school teacher by day, and by evening, night, weekends, any spare free time I have, I design crochet patterns. So far only garments, but that might change soon. But I crochet, knit, spin, sew, and do resin arts. And I love them all. I also sometimes throw in like jewelry making and stuff, but like I would not say I'm like super skilled at that. But I love making things with my hands. I love sharing my creations and my designs with my friends and my followers on the internet and on Instagram. And this is one of my favorite ways to just show what I've been working on. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, I want to briefly talk about what I'm wearing. Number one, we'll go top to bottom. I have on some earrings that I have made with leftover resin. I do have an Etsy shop and I sell handmade crochet hooks, and with the leftover resin that I use from making the hooks, in order not to waste stuff, I make earrings, stitch markers, and some other little things with the leftovers. So these are some like dark green ones that I've made. I love them. They have a lot of glitter. It's probably going to be hard to see it on your screen, but I promise they're very bright green in real life. And then I'm also wearing a finished object, which I'm very excited about. So we're going to do a what I'm wearing / finished objects section. We're going to just jump right in. Oh, also, I lied. Look at this cute little frog ring. It looks like he's just holding my little finger, and I love him so much. He's not very expensive, and he's one of those like adjustable ones, but he's just so cute, and I just needed to share. Okay, I don't remember where I got him. I've had him for a while. Anyway, he needs a name. If you have a suggestion for a name of my frog ring, let me know. All right, we are already immediately off the rails. So I am wearing my finished Tipsy Tea dress. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna stand up in this because you'll like see like from here to like my knees or something, and you're not gonna get the full picture. So future Mac, please remember to put in a picture right here of what it looks like. Hopefully I did it, otherwise this is really silly. But I'm really excited about this. This was a pattern test for Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy, and I believe everyone else in the pattern testing group chose either like a cropped length top or like hip length or like full length or whatever. And I was like, no, I would like to make this harder on myself and do the most crocheting humanly possible in this group. Just kidding. I was just like, ooh, a dress would be cool. And so I ended up testing the dress length. Now, to be fair, I'm significantly shorter than Chelsea. So this may have been slightly less crocheting for some other people that are like normal heights. I'm only about 5'4", so I did make it ankle length though. And I used 7 different skeins of yarn. And I faded them together. I didn't like alternate rows or anything because each row was really, really long. And I didn't want to get like halfway through a row and then be like, well, I ran out of yarn. So once I ran out of yarn, I just kept going. So I tried to make it the darkest to the lightest over here. And I kind of did it. I think I would actually flip some stuff if I were doing this again, but I'm not upset about this at all. I love it. It fits perfectly. And because it's really stretchy, even though there's only a little bit of positive ease up here and there's a little bit more on my waist, it still fits my hips fine. But I would definitely recommend, if you're like, I have these like multiple skeins that would fade well together, but I don't want to make a shawl or like a sweater, but I want a dress, like, do this. It is so cool. It is so comfy. And you have the option of like how high you want to seam the sides and the front and back of the panels. They're just 2 panels or whatever. And I decided that I wanted to be able to wear this to school, so I seamed it up pretty high. And it's like right there. And then the slit comes just above my knee because I want to be able to walk around in it. I can't imagine that if you seamed it all the way down, I feel like you'd have to take really small steps. I could be wrong, but I also like have to go upstairs now for my classroom, and I was like, I don't want to face plant going up or down the stairs. So anyway, I really love it. It fits really well. It took a long time, but I love it so much. I believe the pattern is coming out soon. I should have looked that up too before I got on here. I know our information and pictures are due this week, but do I remember what day the release day is? No. I'll put it in the information below, so go look for that. It'll make you like read the stuff. Ooh, that was a teacher move, sorry. But anyway, I love this yarn. I don't think I used more than 2 skeins from the same yarn dyer too. So this one was Luxe yarns, Luxe Gem yarns. This one, this like bright blue one, was pineapple yarn. This one was spun right round. This middle section one was also pineapple yarn. I lied. This one's also pineapple yarn. Is that right? No, it's not. This middle one is long dog yarn. You gotta be careful when you say that. Then pineapple yarn, Lambwoman knits, and Kato yarn. I'll list them all below as well. Don't ask me to remember all the color names. But I love it so much. I know I'm talking about this for multiple minutes and you can't like see all, but I love it. I love it so much. I love it. You should make a dress too. Maybe not as fast because that might have been too fast for my little hands to be crocheting in the time frame, but you should make one. It's so fun and it's easy and you can do it. I'm gonna make another one of these, but like all in one like colorway, and probably make a cropped one. I'm sure it will feel so fast. So anyway, that's the first thing on my little list of finished objects, which is exciting because I've not had finished objects to show you guys for a while because I've literally been like flying through this, like crocheting at the speed of light, and like steam coming out of my ears, and like my hands were like coming into flames and all this. Yeah, so anyway, I'm very excited to have this done so I can wear it and so I can work on other things. So anyway, that's the first thing. The next thing, well, next 2 things I have are not crochet or knitting finished objects. What order do I want to go in? We'll do the spinning finished object. Okay. Woo! just knocked a bunch of stuff over, but it's fine. Okay, so this is not going to be very exciting to look at because it's still on bobbin. It's still on a bobbin. It's not like done, but I'm counting it as done. Okay, don't come at me for this. So this is a finished bobbin. Look how much there is. I'm so excited. So if you remember a few episodes back, I told you guys that my lovely sweet friend MC she's Blame the Knots on YouTube and Instagram and I think everywhere. She sent me some fleece from a fleece that she bought and was like, you should try scouring just this little bit and prepping it and spinning it and see if you like it. And I was like, okay. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, MC, don't judge me. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like this. Like, voluntarily washing something multiple times, like, no. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I was so wrong. It was great. I've never been so excited to be wrong in my life. But anyway, I have finally finished spinning this. I think I showed you guys the bucket of fluff that I was spinning from. They're just little tufts of like different locks that I had fluffed up and all that stuff. And I'm so excited about it. There are some thick and thin sections. I did my best. I learned that that is not the way that if I were to spin more than this amount, actually if I were to spin hand prepped stuff again, the little bucket of fluff is not the way to go. It made me angry. I got frustrated, and there was nothing wrong with the fleece. It was purely me having to like join fiber so frequently. And I really learned that I love spinning from a braid or top or even bats, like stripped down. And this was none of those things. So some of the acquisitions later on will play into this, but I just wanted to show you, this is a Rambouillet and Suffolk cross. And I started with a 1/2 pound of fleece chunks. It sounds bad, sorry. And I haven't weighed this yet, but this is not a full 1/2 pound. Full 1/2 pound? This is not a 1/2 pound. I've learned that sadly when you go through the process of scouring and prepping fleece, you lose some. So I have like a little basket of like leftover or like waste fiber that I'm not quite ready to part with. So if you have a brilliant idea of what to do with that, like, let me know. I know some people put it in like stuffed animals, like amigurumi stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like if you have to wash the stuffed animal, like, isn't that going to be like weird on the inside? I don't know. Anyway, but there's that. I'm very excited about it. I'm counting it as a finished object because I'm not 100% certain what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if I'm going to ply it with itself, not in a ball from the inside and outside, not like last time, like we talked about. So I might apply this with itself, or last episode I showed a rainbow braid of fiber that I got from Malia Made It that is beautiful, and it's Rambouillet, and I thought, well, this is half Rambouillet, or it's a cross of Rambouillet and something else, so I thought maybe that might be what I do. I don't know, but hopefully next time I have a plan and I can tell you. So that's my second finished object. And then my third and fourth finished object are kind of the same, and I'm going to show you those. Also not knitting or crocheting or spinning, but they're sewing finished objects, which I have not had in a really long time. Actually, I don't know if I've shown any finished sewing finished objects on any of my podcast episodes. So this will be new for you guys, but I'm very excited about it. I'm going to do most recent first. Immediately, I have problems with this. Okay, so this is a cute... I'm too close. Okay, this is just a very simple, cute little dress. And if you're one of my friends that I've been talking about my problems with this was a cursed project. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the fabric or the pattern that I used, which is just like a McCall's pattern from Joann's. I just am stupid sometimes. I get into the habit of going really fast because I'm like, I know what I'm doing, and then I don't, and I mess up. So I'm going to get close because I love you guys and I trust you not to make fun of me. You may notice there's no collar on this. It's just folded down and sewn. And I've not pressed anything, so, and I hate pressing, so I don't know if this will happen soon, but just don't judge me. But anyway, there's no collar because I cut the collar the wrong way. So it didn't stretch at all. So I was like, well, not going to use this. I'll just cut it again. I didn't have any more fabric. And I was not about to do contrasting fabric because I felt like that was weird. And I don't know if I would have anything that would match anyway. And then I was like, it's fine. I'll just go ahead and do the sleeves. Guess what I did on the sleeves? If you are saying out loud, cut them the wrong way, the answer is, yeah, you're correct. So I was like, well, I guess this is going to be a sleeveless dress instead of a t-shirt dress like I wanted, but it's fine. And luckily the rest of the project went smoothly. I want you to just take a minute to appreciate this fabric though. It's just some things I'm really good at. One of the things I'm not good at is remembering what the fabric is. I know it's a knit fabric and it's cotton and spandex and it has bugs on it. It was at Joann's and that's all I got. Just fair warning. I would say like 99% of my fabrics are going to be from Joann's. So if that helps you look for it in the future, there you go. I don't usually buy off of other websites because I like to be able to touch stuff in real life. But anyway, so there's that. Look how cute those little bugs are. So, this is a chaotic podcast. So, yay. Okay. I'm very excited about it. I might wear it this week. So if any of my students are watching, you can prepare to see me in that. It's very cute. It fits really well. I just felt a little goofy when I realized I had made so many mistakes. But it's fine. That's how sewing goes for me. So, and you can't rip back like you can in crocheting or knitting. So I also just now looked down at this project and I have not trimmed the inside. So, and I've not pressed it. If you are thinking, wow, she doesn't do a lot of finishing touches on her projects, you would be so correct. Okay, this one is just a shirt, just a t-shirt, and I have been so excited to make this for, I think, almost a full year. I've had the fabric for a long time. No, probably haven't had a fabric for that long, but I saw the fabric at Joann's and I was like, I really want to make this into a dress or a t-shirt, and I couldn't decide. And silly me, I only bought enough for a t-shirt. But if we're being honest, I may go back, and if our Joanne still has more, I might buy more to make a dress. Look how cute it is. They're colorful dinosaur skulls, like, and those are little teeth floating around in there. How cute! How could you not want to make this? I've been informed by some of my relatives that, like, these are for kids. These are fabrics that are made for kids, and I don't care. I teach in a elementary, no I don't, in a public school. Like, my students aren't going to care. And if they do, well, they're high schoolers. It's fine. Oh, well. Anyway, look at how cute this is. I love it. I also have, like, a pink skirt that's like this color pink that is gonna look so cute with this, and I'll tuck it in the front and do a little French tuck. It'll be so cute. I also have an orange skirt, now that I'm thinking about it, that would look good too. So okay, enough of that. I will press those maybe later, and I'll definitely trim the insides where I left stuff by accident, but there's that. That wraps up the end, whatever, of my finished objects. All right, let us get into works in progress. I'm only going to talk about the ones that I've worked on since we talked last. If I had to estimate, to my right here is like at least 12 projects that are in progress that I have not touched in a long time. I'll eventually finish them or rip them out, but not anytime soon. So let's talk about the ones that I have been working on. First up is, a lot of these will be in Halloween buckets because my husband got like 12 of them or something ridiculous in an online auction. I may have mentioned this before, but they're perfect for working on projects at home. It's delightful. 10 out of 10, Shane. Good job. Also, if you are a person that uses non-traditional project bags, like ones that have been sewn specifically for like knitting and crochet projects, please tell me what you use, because I use this and like tote bags and boxes and whatever I find in my house. And I'm intrigued to know what other people use that are not cutesy little project bags, which I think are adorable. Like, don't get me wrong, but okay. So last time I showed you this, when I was working on my second half sweatshirt, which is by Bree of the Little Wolf Knits, I had just done the back or just done the front. Whichever one comes first. I don't know. I'm so sorry. But I've gotten so much done. Look at this purple. Can you even? Oh my gosh. I love that it looks accurate on screen. Like, this is how bright this is. And I have officially used up my first ball of Surrey. So the fun thing will be to see if the rest of there's no way I'm going to have enough. Okay, I may have to get creative with my Surrey on this. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I have one more ball of Surrey. This is not the first time I've done this, by the way, even recently, but if you know of a dyer that dyes this color purple Surrey in, let me read to you the specs on this. It's 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk for 328 yards. This is from Northwoods Fibers. She doesn't sell this color anymore. I may try and get a hold of her and see if she would dye like one skein of it, because I'm the doofus that thought it was like a 459 yard skein. But there's that. The directions say I should have enough, but I don't trust myself. So anyway, if you know of someone that you're like, oh, that looks like a Surrey from so-and-so in the same color, let me know. But I promise that, like, I am a careful crocheter and knitter and sewer most of the time. I design things carefully, but like the projects I'm showing you, I'm sure you're like, geez. And that's okay. But anyway, look at this. Look how cute it is. Look at my little purple needle stoppers and my colorful needles and all this fun stuff. I love it so much. The pattern is well written and it's simple and I love it. And I'm to the point where I'm just knitting and stockinette forever, which is great. And I'm actually excited to knit the sleeves and stuff. And I do want this to be all purple. I have one little ball of blue Surrey that has almost the same specs, but is like a much smaller skein. But I don't really, it's very pretty. It's like bright cerulean blue, but I just don't know if I want my sweater to all be purple. So, but there's that. I've gotten a lot done. I'm super excited about it. I've been working on it pretty consistently. But yeah, and everything that I've been using, the yarn, my pen, my highlighter, I have a sticky note in here somewhere, it's all been purple. My bucket is purple. I love a good themed, like, I love this whole thing. So, okay, my next, you guys are gonna laugh at me and it's totally okay. My next work in progress, hold on, that's my bucket of, my little container of stitch markers. We don't need those right now. This is also a Surrey project. And I will talk about acquisitions in a little bit, but one of these yarns I've had for a long time, and I've been hoarding it because it's so perfect. The first fingering weight knitted thing I made was in a bright yellow. I'm looking at it over there, making eye contact with it. It was in a bright yellow yarn with like neon red, neon coral, and neon pink speckles. And I loved it. It was perfect. It was great. And I ruined the finished project because I blocked it with sewing pins outside. And so the metal and the sewing pins reacted with the citric acid. And I have on my project, it's a shirt, it has like little rust spots all the way down. But I still wear it because I love it so much. But then one of my favorite dyers at the time was selling a yarn that was almost identical to this, and so I bought it and I was like, oh my gosh. So look how pretty this is. I love this. I love this so much. So this is by Lambwoman Knits, and I've mentioned her before because I have so much of her yarn and she is not dyeing anymore. But this is in the colorway Orangeade. Is that right? I think that's right. I think it's called Orangeade. And it is beautiful. So that's one of the yarns I'm using. And the other yarn I'm using, oh, I did not do a good job caking this up. Please ignore. The other yarn I'm using is this bright orange Surrey. In the colorway Who Loves Orange Soda by MC, my friend MC of Blame the Knots. And it is delightful. I think the purple Surrey that I'm using and this orange Surrey, they have the same specs, and I think they're the same base because they feel the same. They're by different dyers though, but I don't know if they get their stock from the same place. But can you even, oh my gosh, listen. MC has a trunk show this past weekend from when this is being published. I'm having to like think in the future. But if she has any of this left on her site, you need it. It's so soft. It doesn't have to be orange, but it's very soft. And if you don't like mohair or your body doesn't like mohair, like mine, Surrey is delightful. Also, we kind of convinced each other to make the same project with her orange yarn. And so we decided to make a new-ish pattern. It's Andrea Mowry's Nebula. And I think we're, MC, you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think we're both making the short sleeve versions. And I think MC is using the orange Surrey fluff. And I think her fingering weight in the same color. But sorry, I don't have needle stoppers on, like in, again, irresponsible knitter, but please look at how this is knitting up. I have my little stitch marker from Christine Parker, and I love them. They're so sparkly. I think she uses a glow forge, which those things are so cool. But look at the colors together. Like, I feel like the Surrey just tones down the speckles a little bit, but I feel like the fingering weight yarn makes the Surrey like glow. I am so excited to wear this, like, and I'm super excited to like kind of match with my friend. I've been told by my students occasionally that matching is not always cool at my age, but I also choose not to listen to them because they're like 14, 15, 16. What do they know? So, okay. I have one more whip, and that is, did I show this before? I don't think so. Also Orange Hook. Orange Hook by me. I will do a shameless plug for my store in a second. Hold on, that came out and it shouldn't have. Okay, this is just gonna live in the project. This is chaotic episode today, so I hope you are awake, because otherwise, who knows. Okay, we're just gonna make a big loop. Okay, we'll do the shameless plug real quick. If you are interested in any, like, I don't want to say like fluorescent neons, but like bright pastels or like bright neon light neon is maybe the best way to describe it, crochet hooks. I have a bunch of these hooks still in, I'm really hoping that this is focusing. I have a bunch of these still in my Etsy store, and I'll link that below. By the time this comes out, I don't know if I'll have started this yet or not, but by the time this comes out, hopefully, maybe I'll just plan it this way. When this episode releases, I will be having a back to school sale on all of my ready to ship items in my Etsy store. So that will include stitch markers, earrings, and any ready to ship hooks that are already made that I can just put in a package and send out. Anything that's made to order. So the other hooks, if you like really want like the lavender lemonade colored hook in like a really teensy tiny size, and I don't have it in stock beforehand, like the made to order ones will not be on sale, but all of the ready to ship stuff will be on sale because I'm going so out of order. I am plotting a new hook collection soon, and I would like to get some of my in-stock stuff out to people in the world, so I have a little bit more room for making some new stuff. So anyway, it's very pretty, but I'm using that, and I am working on my next sample. Oh, it looks so good. My next sample of my funfetti. It is in testing now. Thank you for those of you that watched this and then applied to test. I absolutely love it. And for anyone that shared it as well, it helped out a lot. And I have a really fun group of testers. They seem very chill, which is nice. Especially since I'm a little bit bold in thinking it was a good idea to start a pattern test like a day or two before I started school. Because, you know, I don't have enough chaos in my life right now. Anyway, this is turning out really, really good. This is the colorway Cheeseburger in Paradise. Excellent name. By Olive and To You Studios. I literally never remember. Like, all I remember is there's sheep puns and olives in their name, but I never remember like the order. But anyway, I bought this and the other skein that I have somewhere when I was in Florida, and getting to hang out with Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy and Shannon of Crafty Luna Creations. We all went to Chelsea's like local yarn shop in Orlando and we all bought yarn. I think I'm the only one that bought this, but Chelsea I think said she has this color or something. But oh my gosh, I cannot explain to you how much I love how this is working up. I get a little like chaotic glint in my eye when I start looking at it, but oh my gosh, can you even? The only thing I'm kind of bummed about right now is that there's little pops of orange in this that are not showing up as bright as they are in real life, but I am so excited to have a second sample of this. I'm pumped. This is like my perfect shirt that well, obviously it's not done, but the funfetti is maybe the most perfect shirt crochet wise that I have ever made. Oh my gosh, why is it? I'm struggling. Okay. And I may not be done after making this one. I may make like 12 more. I don't know. Maybe not 12. That seems excessive even for me, but I'm very excited about this. It's living in a random black box that I found in my house. So that's my project bag. But I love it. I've been working on those 3 things consistently. And I'm at like a nice point for each one where I can just pick it up and go right now, which is nice. So, but there's that. That's all of my whips. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is acquisitions. And I kind of already mentioned, oh no. Let's try this again. Let's talk acquisitions. The first one I want to go into is one that will relate to what I just talked about recently. And that is my skeins of Surrey from MC of Blame the Knots. First of all, look at how cute her little tags are. I love them. So this is what the skein looks like. I have 3 of them total. I bought 2 at once and then realized I can't count and do basic math skills. So I have a 3rd one now too. But they're so soft. I would use these as pillows if they were bigger. But it's like a Cheeto that you can knit with. Like, it is perfect and I love it. I love them. I'm super excited to have a whole sweater made out of that fluffy yarn. So, speaking of fluffy yarn, I have some fluffy yarn and some fluff in a second. So, next thing that I got is something I ordered a while ago, but I ordered a made to order through an Etsy shop. The Etsy shop is LaRue Cotton, and I got 2 skeins of her vegan sock base in the colorway Hot Pants. And let me tell you, they are hot. This color is delightful. It's a little bit darker in real life, but I love them. I love them so much. And I bought these because Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy, I feel like I'm fangirling over MC and Chelsea today, and that's okay. But Chelsea talks about how because of the makeup, the specs of this vegan sock base from LaRue Cotton, which is 40% tencel, 40% organic cotton, 20% elastic for fingering weight, it's really great for bikinis and swimsuits. So, because I've been making so many of those, and I love making them, I was like, you know what? I would like some of the fancy bikini yarn, is how I've been thinking of it, in a really bright color. And so I got on her store and I was like, oh, these are all dark moody colors. And I was like resigning myself to buying like a dark purple or something like that. And then she came out with these really bright colors for like summery collections. And I was like, oh my gosh. So about this, she also has like a lime green and like a jade color that I've been like looking at every couple of weeks and going, these, and I don't, so I don't need them, but look at how pretty this is. So there's 2 acquisitions, 2 skeins, and I love them. And then I actually meant to show this last time, and I don't think I did. If I've shown this before, I'm really sorry, but I got this in a while ago, and this is from Super Glow Fiber. I have 2 skeins of it, and it is from her Cutie Crawlies Club. So you cannot order this color, but each month, Lindsay, I think that's her name, Lindsay comes up with a very colorful crawly thing, a critter, if you will, that is bright and colorful and cute. So a long time ago, I shared that I bought her Rosy Maple Moth yarn in a sock weight, and I'm going to make a full sweater of it because I have a Rosy Maple Moth, you know, tattooed on my arm. And then I was like, you know what? She has a base called Plush Glow, which is about 284 yards, and it's 70% baby alpaca, 7% wool, and 23% nylon. It is squishy and fluffy and beautiful. And I thought, I've been wanting to make the big rib sweater by Jessie Mae Martinson, and I didn't have anything in my stash that worked. I could have probably held some stuff together and tried to make it work, but I was like, I don't love any of the options. And I tried to swatch with 2 different things I had in my stash and couldn't meet gauge. And by the time I did meet gauge, going up a bunch of needle sizes, the fabric was like incredibly see-through and very open, like more open than I wanted it. So I was like, I think this will be close to the base of yarn that she used in her sample. And so I was like, I'm just going to sign up for this club with this base and look at the picture and hope for the best. And man, was I rewarded. So I don't remember if I think this was June's colorway, and it was Rainbow Parrotfish. And rainbow parrotfish are like these bright blue with like almost like metallic, that's not quite the right word, but they have a lot of like iridescent colors on their scales. And I think she did this perfect. Like, look at these. Again, if I've showed this before, just enjoy the bonus content of seeing it again. Here, hold on. Let's make it even better. I'm not going to push this all the way out of the thing because I want you, but like, look at the, oh, And this matches the picture she posted on Instagram, like, exactly. Like, I was incredibly impressed. But this, if you can see how fluffy this yarn is, I'm very excited to make the big rib sweater with this yarn. I'm so excited. I'm putting it aside though until I finish some of my sweaters, because I think I have, well, the two I just showed you. I have my pink Cozy Classic Raglan that I showed a couple episodes back that still needs sleeves. I think I have 5 sweaters on the needles right now. No crochet ones. I have a tendency to do lots of knitting projects and only one crochet project at a time. So that's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. That's a me problem though. Anyway, I'm going to finish up some of the fluffy sweaters I've already started, and then I'm going to cast this on. Maybe I will cast it on for a specific knit and crochet along, a make along, if you will, in the winter time that focuses on fluffy yarns. That'd be cool. Okay, anyway, but this is so pretty and I love it. Okay, and sorry about the crinkling in advance. The next thing, I haven't even pulled this out of the bag. The next thing, I'm so excited about this. The next thing I want to show you is that my friend MC, okay, actually let me back up. I was having a really rough day sometime last week, and my husband had brought in the mail and I didn't see it initially. And then he was like, hey, you have a package, by the way. It's from MC. And I was like, oh, cool. Why? And so I opened it, and it was bigger than I anticipated. And she sent me this bat that she made out of fiber that she prepped. And so obviously, because I was having a rough day, I immediately burst into tears. Because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice and so sweet. And it was like the perfect pick me up, and it cracked me up a lot. Also, like, I'm scared to open this because I don't know if I can get it to go back for storage purposes, but like, it's so dang fluffy. I'm so excited to spin with this. This is part of the fleece that she's been working through. Oh, it looks like if you took a marshmallow and fluffed it up and then rolled it. A vanilla marshmallow. Okay, so anyway, I am super excited about this. This is like, ooh, see, this is why we don't want to do things, Mackenzie. So I'm very excited about this. I just feel so loved, and I'm so excited to start spinning with this. Probably not right away, because I just finished a white fiber spin, and I think I need some color in my life, and then I'll come back to this because I am very excited about it. But I just love it so much. And I get all emotional every time I look at it. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, I've gathered myself and I've stopped tearing up and sniffling. Last acquisition I have is just some more fabric, which I absolutely did not need because I have so much fabric. But I bought some of this knit fabric from Joann's, and it has these sweet little birds on it. If you need to know something about me, if you want a fun fact of the day about Mac, Mac loves birds. I love birds. I love bird watching. And if you're like, oh, you're hitting your 30s, like it'll sneak up on you. No, I have been an avid bird watcher since I was a young child. I would go bird watching with my dad and my grandma, and my grandma actually pointed out an indigo bunting in a guidebook one day, and I remember thinking, that is the most beautiful bird I've ever seen. I remember thinking this as like a little kid, and I remember thinking like, man, it would be so cool to see one of those, and so it's become my favorite bird. And this is a funny story that has absolutely nothing to do with crafts of any sort. my husband and I actually have an indigo bunting that lives in our yard, and we named him Gerald. If you don't know what an indigo bunting is, number one, go look it up. But also, it looks like this. Mine has a little bit of a crest on it, which most of them, when they're like chill and relaxed, they don't have the little crest or whatever. I'm not chill or relaxed, which is why my crest is up. That was really bad. I'm sorry. But they're this bright, bright blue. And the first indigo bunting I ever took a picture of, it was singing and it had its crest up because it was being very territorial. But the point is, I saw this fabric at Joann's and I was like, oh, it's bright blue, which I love bright colors as the backgrounds, and it has like pink and all these beautiful things. So I got enough so that I can make a dress out of it. And if we're being honest, I might make like a full length dress, like down to my feet. Ooh, maybe short sleeves and down to my feet. I feel like that would be really cute. But so that's another acquisition. Last couple acquisitions all have to do with fibery stuff. Ooh, I showed you a little bit already. Now, these are not put together because I've not needed to use them yet, and it just seemed a little unsafe, and I'll explain what that means in a second. So, I have mentioned that I loved the scouring and washing process of the fleece, which is apparently a little unusual. That's not usually the part people like. But I absolutely did not like the prep that I had to spin from. So, sorry, I'm a little congested. I bought a wool hackle, but a 3D printed little one. And it comes with the nails to put in it. If you don't know what a wool hackle is, like just, I don't know, look it up later. But I bought this from Telltech Arts. Sorry, I have the card over there so I could refer to it. But this is from Telltech Arts. It's just 3D printed. I got to pick the color, which obviously I picked pink. And then I also bought two, are these the same on both sides? Pretty much. 2 wool combs. And these come with nails to insert into them. But like I said, that seemed moderately unsafe to, like, because I talk like this, to have nails this close to my face. So the nails will go in there. And one of these will get clamped to the table, and I'll like put all the fluff in there, and then like, you might want to look up like a YouTube video of how to do that because that was a very bad demonstration. But, and then I'll put this, the fiber on the wool hackle, and then I will use a diz, which is a little object, a flat object, sometimes a disc, sometimes other shaped. One second. And pull the fiber through to basically make handmade or hand prepped roving, which is what I prefer to spin from. So I was on the hunt because I was like, I mean, I guess I could use like a button or like something similar for a diz. But I was like, what if I want a different size, different like diameter hole of the diz? And if you're like, I have no idea what you're saying at all, it's okay, it's fine, just enjoy the chaos. So I went on Etsy and found this cute little shop called Bull Sheep Fiber and Dye Works, which I think is a hilarious name. And they have cute little cards. There's like a little bowl on there. And I bought 2 dizzes. Dizzes? I bought 2. I bought a diz and I bought another one. And one is this super fun rainbow stripey, and you can see how like shiny they are. So there's that one, and they're butterfly shaped, which I thought was so cute. And then my other one I got has so much glitter in it. And I just love it so much. I'm trying to show like all the different colors. I love it. I'm probably gonna use this one first if we're being honest. I'm so excited. They seem incredibly well made. So if you are a person that needs a diz, or just, I don't know, wants a cute little, what else could you use this for? I know some people use it for like to keep plies separate while they're plying on a spinning wheel, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of if there would be anything else you could use this for in like knitting or crocheting, but I got nothing. But anyway, these are very cute. I love them. I'm super excited to use them with my new wool hackle and wool combs. And I'll be honest, I didn't want to spend a ton of money on these things because I wasn't sure if I'd love them. And so I was like really hesitant. I was like, maybe this is just not for me. And then I found places that 3D printed or like made like acrylic versions of stuff. And so I'm really excited to try it out this way. And then if I love this process, then I may move up to a larger size wool hackle and stuff like that. But for now, I'm really excited to use these. But that wraps up all of my acquisitions. All right, let's move on. Okay, I have already, I guess, teased that I am having a new collection drop, new hook collection in my Etsy shop drop and roll. Just kidding. A new collection drop pretty soon. Probably not in August, if we're being honest. Like, that's too soon and I've got a lot going on. But I'm hoping September, end of September potentially, would be when I get to drop the next collection, and it's going to be really good. I've shown some of them before, and then I have some new colors that they're going to be so good. But in the meantime, I've made a couple more hooks, or finished a couple more hooks that I will be putting in the ready to ship section of my store. I've got 3 more 3.0 this is as good as it gets. 3.0 millimeter hooks in this bright pink pink flamingo color. Wow, I just forgot the name of the color of the hooks that I designed, and anyway, it's fine. These are, how do I want to put this, a little bit more curvy than some of my other hooks. They took the resin a little bit thicker. They're thick and curvy. But anyway, these will be listed on my site. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. In my store on Etsy with the 3.0 millimeter hooks. They function the same. They're just a slight bit thicker than the other ones. But they'll go in there. So those will count towards the ready to ship back to school sale that I am going to have once this is published, the video. And then I also have 2 other hooks that basically, for lack of a better term, have really chubby handles. I have had some issues in the past, probably 2 or 3 years, with having some grip strength issues with some medical stuff. And I have to use the ergonomic hooks in order to be able to crochet. Otherwise, I can only crochet for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then my wrist hurts and I have to take a break. It is just too much grip strength combined with fine motor skills that I just can't do it. But I found that the thicker crochet handles, crochet hook handles, actually help my wrists a lot. So these are great, which honestly, this is part of the reason I started making these, was so I could have really pretty ones that were thick handles and had glitter on them and stuff. But I've got 2 more that are like, for lack of a better term, they're like extra thick. Here is one of the pink ones I just showed you, and this blue one for comparison. These are function the exact same, but they're bigger, and for like me, they're a little bit more comfortable to hold on to if you really struggle with like grip strength, or it's just a little bit more comfortable. Now, I know I use a knife grip for my crochet hooks, but I know some people use a pencil grip. I don't know if this is just as comfortable for people who use a pencil grip if it's this thick. So if you use a pencil grip and you're interested in one of these crochet hooks, please feel free to send me a message before purchasing. And I can give you like very specific dimensions of this, and you can like figure out by using like, I don't know, a chubby marker or something, to see if that would still be comfortable for you, because I use this grip. But anyway, so I'll have, was that 5? I can count 5 more crochet hooks added to my store in the meantime before having our next collection drop. Also, I do still have all of the different colors of my Summer Delights collection for the made to order. I will leave that up indefinitely. Obviously, if I have to close my store temporarily, they'll not be in there, but that would apply to everything. So those won't be part of the sale, but all of those colors will stay forever. These are the pink flamingo ones. Those will go into the ready to ship ones. These will be one of a kind colorways. This orange one is really fun. It's got like regular orange glitter and then long orange glitter. I don't know how to describe it. And this is a size 6. And then this is very blue, and the blue glitter in it almost has like a purple it's not showing up, but that's fine. But it's got a little label that's in purple and it says 4.5, so, or 4.5. But those will be in my shop soon, so if you're interested, go check them out. They will be in my shop starting the day that this is published, so I would love it if you check those out. Okay, this is going to be a really long episode, so for that, I'm maybe a little sorry. Not a lot sorry, but a little sorry. But if you stuck with me this long, number one, thank you. I'm impressed with you. Congrats on making it this far. I feel like you're going to need like a snack and some hydration after this, but thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of my viewers and everybody that leaves comments and shares this with their friends. This is just my slightly silly, mostly unhinged, always chaotic podcast. But yeah, I really appreciate you watching. If you thought anything was interesting or you have questions, feel free to comment below. I love finding out like how people view my podcast. I think that's a bit of the nerd in me, is like, how do people view this versus how do I view this? But feel free to ask me any questions about what I'm working on or what I'm making for my Etsy store, or leave me a comment below. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. I just recently, I was going to mention this, son of a biscuit. I just recently like tipped over 100 subscribers, so I feel like I should do something fun for that. So if you have suggestions on like how we should celebrate, let me know, because I'm all for celebrating like anything you can come up with. But I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Feel free to share this channel or this episode if you're like, wow, this person is like pretty wacky and my friend so-and-so needs to get a kick out of what they're talking about. Feel free to send me their way. But I really appreciate all your support, both on my YouTube channel, my Instagram page, and my Etsy store. And like I said, I'll have all of those linked below in case you want to go exploring off into the interwebs. And I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.